Ralph Havens here from Mission Hills Physical Therapy and Heart of Running Transformational Downloads. And I wanted to talk a little bit today about how it all got started with me, my looking at running and evaluating running and trying to figure running out for myself and for our clients and my running group here in San Diego and on the internet. The big question that I saw that kept me coming back to what is going on here was when I looked at runners and I counted steps. I would count steps and I would time it. And a minute would go by and I would count how many times the left foot hit the ground, for example. And what I found was the best runners in the world, when they were running their marathons, their 5Ks, their 10Ks on the track, they were spinning at about 90 to 95 cycles a minute. By that I mean every time their left foot hit the ground, if you counted that, in a minute it'd be 90 to 95 times. The interesting thing is that the best local runners here in San Diego, people running pretty fast, but not going to win Olympic medals or set world records, 31-minute 10K type times for guys, they were also spinning at 90 to 95 cycles a minute. So I thought, well, that's interesting, because then the only difference from a purely physics kind of point of view is, or mechanical kind of view, is that their stride is longer, the guys that are running fast. So if their stride is longer, I started to think, well then, why is it that the fastest guys in the world are 5'3", 5'4", 5'5", 5'6" or 7 or 8? It starts to be on the tall end for these guys. Why is it that they are short if they're generating such a long stride? I also kept thinking about all my coaches in the past that would say don't overstride. So I was like, well, that's interesting. If you can't overstride, then how do you get a long stride length out of this? And then I thought, well, maybe it's about strength in the legs. But if it's about strength, then why are the fastest guys in the world really skinny? In fact, their their thighs and their lower legs are really skinny. They're as skinny as some people's arms, yet they're able to cover these enormous amounts of territory with each stride. So I started to pay attention to that, and that was my big question that started me on the quest of figuring out running form for myself and also for my clients. What I came up with was that they were doing a lot of things in order to generate that stride, yet not overstride. Their foot was still landing underneath them as opposed to out in front of them. They had a big kickback, but how they were doing it, I found, was related to about 21 components that I've come up with so far. To give you a basic idea of one of them, if you ever watch a world-class road race, like say a marathon, with a bunch of East Africans in the race, you'll notice the press truck go by, and then you'll notice the pack of the elite runners going by. And what it looks like, if you didn't know any better, it looks like there's a cord connecting their chest up to something that's in the upper part of the press truck. They're being pulled forward, and then their legs are sweeping behind them. There's something that seems to be pulling them forward. So one of the components that I found is what I call the torsion field of the heart. It's called the torsion field of the heart by other people too, in quantum physics and spirituality, and some of the methods that I've studied, such as matrix energetics. And what I see and sense and what I've noticed in myself and my runners is that by helping runners connect to this torsion field of the heart, they can connect to an enormous amount of energy, and it actually does pull them forward. Other running programs, such as Chi Running, talk about using gravity to let yourself fall forward. I think there's some truth to that, but what I've noticed is there's something that they're not just falling forward, they're actually being pulled up and forward and allowing everything else to sweep behind them. So that's one of the components. There's many other ones related to bones and the way things are organized in the body, and pressure systems in the body, and vacuum systems in the body. But if you want to learn more, we can talk about it in another video. But I wanted to just lay that out there as a question for you. Why are they spinning at 90 to 95 cycles a minute, the same as the local fast guys, yet they're generating these long stride lengths and they're skinny, and they're not that tall. So something to think about.